That's better. So today, I'm going to be cutting out the legs, or at least I'm going to make the pattern for it. So I have to do this, 1-inch square kind of template like you did when you were a kid. I'm just a big kid anyway. I'll show you a few pictures, I'll do some video, then we'll see how they go. Thanks. So here I am in the carpeted section of my workshop, and I have this beautiful crooked board that I am going to cut down to use for the legs. So I need 2 inches thick, so there's going to be 2 pieces that I'll glue together because that's what I do. I'm trying to figure out where's the best placement for this. So here's the pattern I made yesterday. And so the goal here is to figure out not only where it fits, but where I can get the best grain, right? So I have, these would be the weak spots. So if the grain is running this way, I want to make sure I have as much grain here so it doesn't just snap off. This seems to be the best one right here. So that's kind of where I'm going to go with it. So I've laid out all of them. Never mind that mess there. But when I get it all planed down, I'll mark them out for real and start shaping things. Okay, so sort of a trick thing here. Not really, it's just how do you use this thing? So I have a mark here. I want to go 25 degrees this way. So if you look at this, there's a pivot point right here at the very tip. And then there's a scale over here. So if I find 25, what I do is put the pivot point on the mark and then just turn my square to 25 degrees. There you go. And I extend that line, done. Okay, we're handheld again. So I'm getting ready to cut these boards down and try to make them a little bit flat. They wobble a little bit. So I've added shims to this piece of MDF and I put a stop so the board won't slide, and I hot glued the shims in place because that supposedly works. Now I'm going to run it through my planer, never mind my finger there, and just see how it comes out. I won't film that because it's noisy as heck. So that worked fairly well. So the idea here is I use the flat board to make this board flat on this side. Then when I flip it over, it's already flat. And then it'll be uniform, parallel, all that good stuff. Well, it's not the most productive day today. So first of all, my lights are not working properly, so I need new fluorescent bulbs. So I've jury rigged some clip lights. But what I'm doing, I want to glue these blanks up for the legs. You can see the outlines, but I can't get them to lie flat. So I'm going to cut them in half, try to glue them up as smaller pieces, and see if I can overcome this challenge. And by the way, this isn't a great bandsaw blade in my bandsaw, so we're going to just run it, see what happens. Never do that to your bandsaw. I'm going to cut these leg blanks that will get dovetails in them, but I'm going to remove some of the stock with a dado, like I started with this one, before I do that. Blanks. A couple of them look like they came out pretty good. A couple of them we'll have to see after they get cut, but we're going with it. Next thing to do is to cut the dovetail profiles on each side. And that'll determine the thickness that I need and finally fit them into my dovetails in the pedestal. Here's a trick I saw online. Use the table saw fence, which gives that edge, that flat edge, a place to register. And when you put your pattern up, you register that as well. And then you know this leg is going to match all the other ones. Ta-da! Okay, this is leg number one. You can see these are matched to each of the pockets in the pedestal, trimmed exactly the way they need to be. I'm hoping that gets better. But anyway, I'll cut this out. Be loud. The importance of doing a practice piece. So I messed this one up yesterday. Has a chip. It was cut a little awkward when I cut the dovetail and made it too small, but this is still good. So what I'm going to do, I have to cut this. This is going to be this kind of curving the front of that. I want the blade to be, somewhat protected from me. But when I get ready to cut this whole piece, it's going to go through like this. And you can see it's going to hit, so I will give that a little more height. This is a scary cut for me, but this is what we're going to do. the good ones this time. So shaping the legs now starts with just a 1/2 inch round over bit, and I'm gonna ride over this roller coaster, take some of the stock off. Step 2, gnarly rasp. Got fancy clamps. We'll get this. Improvise. The goal here is to get a nice, smooth, gradual curve. This will tear the wood all up, but it comes off pretty easily. I attack it next with one of these with gnarly grit sandpaper, and that will smooth things over. Ideally, in this part from like here to here, I want it to be mostly a round shape, and then it flattens out here. It's not too bad. I'll show you the finished product. This is too kludgy to film. So a little more shaping, a little more sanding. I'll cut this part off, and then there's some scalloping that goes on there. Fit's not too bad. This isn't glued in yet. You can see here, I'll smooth this, I'll make more of a transition here. And this is the piece that broke off right here. Apart from all the raggedy stuff from me not being good on the lathe, you can hardly tell that that was broken off. Or, you know, within reason. It'll be fine. Okay, so the legs are pretty much done now. So I've cut the pedestal off. There will be a little bit of a rounding or shaping here. These will be glued up. I've shaped these around to make it a little bit of a transition. And then the only other thing left to do the pedestal is cut a slot, which is for a key to hold the bird cage on. And then this part will be done. Then back onto the top. So next up, bird cage.